Fox 2 News at 6 starts now.
Tonight at 6, a former NHL star and Livonian native is facing sex crime charges in Oakland County.
41-year-old Ryan Kesler, who is now a youth hockey coach, has been arraigned on the allegations and is now out on bond. Fox 2's Scott Wolchek is live with what else he's learned. Scott.
Hey, Brandon. Yeah, Ryan Kesler, the guy who played for the Canucks and the Ducks, 15 years in the NHL. He has been charged with 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the 4th degree. Now, keep in mind, those are 2 misdemeanor charges. Orchard Lake Police are the arresting party here. They say this stems back from an incident that happened allegedly on New Year's Day, and it was reported to the police on January 2nd. So what exactly happened or may have happened has not been publicly stated just yet. Just to protect the privacy of everybody involved. But this is something where it's disheartening for certain fans to hear about because this guy was a big NHL star and he works with a lot of kids. One of the things that he does is he coaches for the Little Caesars AAA Hockey Club, and the Athletic reports that the Michigan Amateur Hockey Association has suspended Kesler from his role due to these allegations. Take a listen to what a local attorney had to say about these charges.
If you look at the statute for criminal sexual conduct in the 4th degree, it has all kinds of different circumstances under which someone can be charged with that. But if it's a New Year's Eve party or a New Year's party, we could assume the individual is an adult, and we can assume that either they're 2 individuals or it's 2 separate instances of touching. This is not one in which we're talking about penetration or anything like that. Doesn't mean it's not serious.
When it comes to CSC, I mean, it's a serious charge, but this one, is this kind of the lightest of the CSCs? Or is it?
If you can say that, but when you say CSC, what does it mean? Even if, it's unfortunate. If this individual is found not guilty, Rob Murad does this thing and he's found not guilty, it's one of those things that just lives on. And it kind of sticks with you. That stain is hard to remove.
Now, Kesler's attorney did not respond to my request for comment, but we do know that he has told some media that these accusations are baseless, and Kesler pled not guilty. I did also reach out to the Little Caesars Hockey Club, who did not respond to my request for comment. We know that Kesler was given a $50,000 bond with a 10% cash surety. He did post that bond. His next court date is November 6th. For now, reporting live in Oak Park, Scott Wolchek, Fox 2 News. Brandon, back to you.
Yeah, to make matters more serious here, Kesler was a youth hockey coach, so this is a situation where you have someone who is in a trusted position, and for a lot of parents, their trust likely feels violated given these allegations.
Unfortunately, yes. It's one of those things where, this guy, obviously his passion is for hockey, and it's for kind of sharing the love of the game with kids. When you hear that your kid's hockey coach, no matter if they were a big star, is accused of something like this, it's definitely something that's going to bring up some pretty bad trust issues. I think that's why you're seeing the one hockey league suspend him, at least for now, or keep him out of his coaching role for now.
Well, we'll continue to follow this case as it develops. Scott Wolchek, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, the other big story we're following right now, Hurricane Melissa, now slamming Jamaica as a powerful Category 5. The storm made landfall around 1 o'clock with maximum sustained winds of 185 miles per hour. And right now, the storm is located about 15 miles south of Montego Bay, Jamaica, and it has those sustained winds, a maximum of 160 miles per hour, and is moving at 8 miles per hour.
Yeah, so on one side of your screen, you see the radar and how large the storm is. On the other, you see how it is hitting the island in real time. National Hurricane Center forecasters said that catastrophic winds, flash flooding, and storm surge are ongoing, and that all residents should continue to shelter in place.
Melissa made landfall this afternoon near New Hope in the parish of St. Elizabeth, Jamaica.
New video shows the views from inside the Category 5 storm, which were taken by a Hurricane Hunter plane as it approached Jamaica. Weather Authority Rich Luderman is here with a look at the storm's track. Rich, break down for us what we are looking at.
Yes, thankfully, the hurricane is now pulling away from Jamaica, but it did make landfall on the west end, closer to Montego Bay and Negril. Next in line is going to be the east end of Cuba, up near Guantanamo Bay, and some re-strengthening is certainly possible. It did weaken just a bit as it crossed Jamaica and even the Bahamas, Bermuda perhaps next in line as we go over the next couple of days. Here is that official track from the National Hurricane Center, and the interesting thing is it's nowhere close to the lower 48. It's going to be well off the eastern seaboard, but in terms of pressure, this may go down as a top 5 hurricane in terms of lowest pressure. At times before it made landfall, it was at 892 millibars. That is unbelievably low. So how about a full check of our forecast and the weekend ahead coming up in 10.
And today, we are hearing from families here in Metro Detroit who have loved ones in Jamaica.
Yeah, and they're trying really hard to remain positive as they wait for answers, but they know what their friends and family are facing in their homeland. And Fox News' Ingrid Kelly is live in the newsroom with the latest. And it's going to be hard. Jamaica's not really prepared their infrastructure for storms and winds like this.
You're totally right. And you know, when you look at these images, they're very difficult to watch. But if you have family in Jamaica, they're unbearable.
It's hard. It is hard.
And Metro Detroit families with ties to Jamaica are filled with concern as they try to stay in contact with loved ones impacted by Hurricane Melissa.
Well, I spoke with my son this morning, and he said, "Mommy, I'm just watching the roof because the sound from the storm doesn't sound good."
Chris Mitchell, the owner of Island Spice Caribbean Restaurant in Detroit, has not been able to connect with his family.
You know, I haven't had any contact with anyone. No contact.
Many on the island have experienced power outages as Melissa made landfall in Jamaica Tuesday. The hurricane brought winds with speeds nearly 200 miles per hour to the island. Heavy rainfall causing major flooding.
I spoke to my aunt last night. She lives in Commodore St. Catherine. She mentioned that there's a lot of flooding that's going on. She's a little concerned about the roof.
There's a lot of rain. There's a lot of breeze. Places are flooding out. I spoke to even one of my friends. One of the hospitals in Jamaica is flood out.
Sophia Chu is with the Caribbean Community Service Center located in Metro Detroit, and she says efforts will take place to get help to Jamaica.
There's typically a fundraiser that's done where everybody gets together to make sure that we get the non-perishable items, the food, the clothing, the money, those kinds of things to help our home countries.
Live, you know, when we get the details for that fundraiser, of course, we'll post them at fox2detroit.com. Now, Sophia says if you're looking for ways to donate, that's great, but just make sure you vet the organization to make sure they're reputable. Back to you.
And stay with Fox 2 for continuing coverage of Hurricane Melissa. You can also count on us to bring you the latest developments on later editions of Fox 2 News and streaming on Fox Local.
A 35-year-old woman is now facing murder charges in the stabbing death of a Royal Oak man. Samantha Ray Booth is charged with 6 felony counts, including first-degree murder. Authorities tried to arraign Booth via video from a cell at the Royal Oak Police Department today, but Booth refused to stand up and be on camera. This led to a delay in her arraignment. She's accused of stabbing 83-year-old David Hong to death on Friday night. Neighbors tell us Booth was a nanny for the family. She was denied bond.
Also new today, Michigan's Attorney General joining a coalition of 22 other attorney generals, filing a lawsuit against the government for suspending SNAP. The suit argues the Agriculture Department is legally required to keep providing benefits during the shutdown. The suit claims the department is unlawfully suspending the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP, which helps more than 40 million Americans buy food.
Well, while much of the focus is on that shutdown, and there's focus also on that Detroit mayoral election and other races on Tuesday, we are getting a look at how next year's governor race is shaping up. We looked at the most recent campaign finance reports and how they factor into who's a front runner and who has more work to do? In the race for Michigan's next governor, the most recent campaign finance report shows Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson leading the way in the Democratic field. Former Attorney General Mike Cox is the top Republican fundraiser. While we're more than a year away from the 2026 election, the winner in the fundraising race might be Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan, because he doesn't have to spend any of his contributions on a primary.
Both the Republican primary field and the Democratic primary field are going to spend the first half of 2026 fighting with each other, while Mike Duggan is going to continue to raise money that he doesn't have to spend or burn through very quickly, and just sit back and wait for that general election phase.
And how valuable is campaign fundraising in an age of social media and people getting their news from very non-traditional sources?
Money remains and will always be incredibly important in winning elections. When it comes to persuading voters who aren't part of a candidate's base, television and other more traditional media still dominates. Now that is changing, and at some point we might see television be irrelevant, but that seems like it's far away.
Dave Dulio, Oakland University professor of political science, says this is the stage where the candidates will build their foundation of their campaign. That's hiring staff, opening offices around the state, and doing candidate research. Detroit Free Press columnist M.L. Eldrick ran for office in 2021. What is one thing that you learned about fundraising that maybe you didn't until you started running for office?
I knew it was going to take a lot of time. I knew it was going to be frustrating. But the biggest thing is that there's a feeling of owing somebody something. Even if you're strong on message, the fact that you can be everywhere. These billboards are everywhere, and that has an impact on voters because we see names and faces and we remember them. And when we don't know what we're going to do, we're like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so.
Mark this on your calendars. The 2026 primary is August 4th, which means that it is 280 days away from today.
Members of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association picketing at DTW and airports across the country. The messages they are sending, they want people to know about the effects of the government shutdown. And it's said to be one of the best things that you could do for your body. But should you go for a long walk or a lot of little walks? The results of a new study at HealthWorks.
Local Marine just out for a bike ride, but he gets hit by a car. The car takes off, and that Marine now is a paraplegic. What's going to happen next? I'm Charlie Langton. That story is coming up. hard.
New tonight, our first look at this dramatic body cam video as first responders evacuate a large senior facility in Southgate as fire quickly spread throughout the building.
Wyandotte officers joined those from other downriver departments who ran into the burning building and began helping those inside get out, and it happened at the American House Southgate. Investigators say 87 residents and staff all escaped. 2 people, including a firefighter, were treated for injuries. No word yet on this cause.
Yeah, heroic efforts there. Well, in Macomb County, a Marine veteran is critically injured while riding his bicycle. He survived, but is now a paraplegic.
So as his family struggles with his medical bills, how this happened, it remains a mystery. Fox 2's Charlie Langton has the story.
Joe and Lynn Seymour's house is easy to spot in Harrison Township. Both are veteran Marines and are proud to display their military background. Who has the higher rank?
Well, I do, of course.
They even met in the Marines and got married 29 years ago. Now, Joe is an avid bike rider until September 30th at around 10 o'clock in the morning when Lynn got a call from the next door neighbor.
So she called me and said, wow, looks like somebody fell off their bike. And as soon as she said that, I thought, oh my God, he was out riding his bike.
Yep, it was 65-year-old Joe who fell, and he was hurt.
Hi, Joe. How do you feel today?
All right. Getting better. Hard to talk. Can't move my fingers.
As we find out later, he broke his C1, 2, and 3 vertebrae. And
which means that he can't really walk and the use of his arms?
No.
Joe is currently at the DMC, Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan, and likely will be there for at least 3 more weeks because there are other injuries.
He had a big, deep hole up here, about the size of the end of a pencil on the eraser. I don't know how deep it was. I just seen it. And all the other ones, it just doesn't make sense that he just fell off a bike.
You think a car hit him?
I think a car tapped him.
Now, the cause of the accident is still a mystery. There's no video, no eyewitnesses, and Joe was unconscious after the accident. Yet, Lynn still thinks that Joe was hit by a car, which then took off. As we checked out the accident scene, almost in front of his house. Joe was coming this way, got hit in the rear. Joe goes flying, ends up here, and the bike stays there.
Yes.
Joe's bike is still in the garage.
I think somebody tapped the tire or something.
A GoFundMe has been set up to help Joe. His immediate needs, a handicap ramp to get into his home and a walk-in shower because he'll be in a wheelchair. In Harrison Township, Charlie Langton, Fox 2 News.
Well, in Detroit, a teenager on a motorcycle crashes after popping wheelies right in front of state troopers. According to the Michigan State Police, troopers saw a motorcycle stopped in the road near the Southville Service Drive in Warren just after midnight. When they went to question that rider, a second motorcycle rider came up behind them, popped a wheelie, and revved his engine. That motorcyclist went around troopers and then got on the freeway. A short time later, he lost control and crashed. The 17-year-old was treated for minor injuries before being released to his father.
In HealthWorks, we've talked about the benefits walking can have on your health so many times. And now a new study finds when it comes to taking a stroll, walking longer is better. In a study conducted among healthy adults, those who accumulated most of their daily steps in 15 minutes or longer had significantly lower risks of heart disease and death. And researchers found those benefits extended nearly a decade later than those who got in several shorter walks throughout the day. The study was published in the Annals of Internal Medicine. Rich, over to you.
And Tam, we've had a great stretch of weather, so that'll continue for another day. Here's our hurricane now passing north of Jamaica, heading into eastern Cuba later on tonight. But notice another storm center off the eastern seaboard and yet more wet weather, unsettled weather, really, for the middle part of the country. For us, we've had high pressure parked through Ontario and Quebec for the last few days. And you can see once again this afternoon, plenty of sunshine out there. However, it has been breezy, and that'll continue for another 24 hours. Now look at this. I timed it out perfectly just for you, Brandon. There's the sunset right over Detroit. Boy, it's a nice sight. You can see the breeze out there, the chop on the water as well. Take a look at the numbers today. 58 on the high side, 41 this morning's low, right where we should be for this time.